What is going on, fellow traders? Hopefully you're having a great day. It's the Wolf. Welcome to another episode of the Wolf Den Trader Takeaways. It's Monday. It's August 12th. It's summer. We're having a nice little pop today. Some more volume coming into small caps, I think. Earnings is still going on, maybe dying down a little bit, but definitely not over. It still feels like summer trading, but we do have a fresh breath of air of life coming in, RKDA. And with that, let's just go ahead and roll to executions. Rebecca, thank you so much. So now we're looking RKDA. I'm sure you heard of it. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you watched it. If you're short, hopefully you avoided it. RKDA, here is the 3-minute intraday chart. Strength, we get a wedge, and then we get a super strength. Here's a 5-day, 5-minute. Look at the two consolidations right here. This was yesterday's volume consolidation, right? We're looking at front side volume. 425 is a point of control right here. And then look at, we get a gap up, and then look at today's consolidation, right? I'm pointing out the volume profile consolidations because I want you guys, or would like you guys, to put the pattern to the volume. All right, digestion complete. Now, with that being said, let's just go ahead and hop over to the Jumbotron. I know we've looked at this stock before. Here's a 3-year chart. First thing that my eyes are attracted to is this. Look at this volume. This is relatively high volume. Today we are 19.27 or 1927% relative to the 30-day RVol, right? The relative volume. We had a nice little pop here, end of February. And then look, this is just a fadey, trashy chart from $45 coming down over 2 years, maybe a year and a half, and then a short squeeze basically, or a manipulation or an offering. I'm not sure exactly, but this is just manipulation. In my opinion, everything I say today is opinion-based and purely speculative. These are just my opinions, guys, but this is manipulation from an institution or HC or whoever it is that has controlling interest in warrants or overhead supply. Now back over to these the intraday. Let's go ahead and go to executions. I'm just going to go ahead and pull those up. Hopefully everyone stayed safe today. So we're short today on RKDA. Shout out to the some of the guys in the Wolf Den, in the Wolf Trading Discord room. Some guys took care of business long on this. Some other guys were short scalping this as well. But we did pretty good. We did pretty well on this as a room. But this was a dangerous play. Micro float. That's what I wanted to show you guys. It's a food products, agricultural products, right? They just released that AK about hemp manufacturing in Hawaii. They have controlling interest in another entity. 6.2 million shares outstanding. And today they're closing at 43 million market cap. Look at that relative volume. Look at that relative range. Look at that one-day range. Today we popped 284. These guys are trying to raise the MVPHS, right? The market value of publicly held shares by the non-affiliate public float. You guys know the baby shelf rule, right? 1/3 max TTL allowance on the IB5 or IB6. So here we go. We got a big push, right? Strong push. Just going to go ahead and zoom in real quick on this with DAS. So we took a small feeler on this in pre-market. This was kind of trading flat or sideways, and we just put some on. We put some risk on right here. Nothing really interests me. I had orders out, I believe, much higher. We were in the room consensus that this thing was going to push. A couple of guys had some very accurate pre-market descriptions, and then we ultimately did get a flush right here at the bell. I took some off at 590. We trimmed at 590, and I had orders out at 576, off of the micro consolidation right here. It just didn't get filled, and I had some orders out here too as well, but I didn't catch them. We had some longs entering here as well. Congratulations on that. And then basically I'm just rolling through the order flow. I'm adding into exhaustion, right? We're trying to identify exhaustion on the tape, which is we see a acceleration from support. We'll see an acceleration, a switch of sentiment on the tape, acceleration, and then we'll see a deacceleration, right? Prints are starting to come in slower, and then there's I guess you could call it a camo shift, a coloration differential on the tape, and then stalling. And when we see stalling, It's our discretion to decide to enter upon that if we're going to scalp the order flow. And that's basically what I was doing. I was just watching for stalling, and I was watching for prints, speed, deceleration, yada yada. So we caught some good fills up here, and I was a little bit too greedy, or there was a little bit spready. I don't remember, but I should have taken some profit here, but I did not. I took profit, early on. Did not get my larger fills. Coming back up, just recycling. Basically, real quick, is just running tape. And then we get a nice sub VWAP consolidation here, short trap, whatever you want to call it. Nice wicks here. I did like these wicks. These were they did interest me. I'm sure everybody who traded this was watching the tape here, or definitely watching the technical patterns on this one. Then we come up. Now we come up right here, and I get some ads in. I had these ads out probably from this time forward, and then when I'm going to add, especially if I'm going to throw a starter and an add on, this close, right? This is 654 in relation to, we're only 25 cents above VWAP on this monster strength low float. You better believe I'm going to take some risk off at VWAP, and I got a nice fill right here, right at 632, and trim down the position. A couple fills, actually. Yeah. And then we come back up, same thing, right? We're just looking for, we're identifying a shift on the tape, right? We want to know gravity, right? We want to see how heavy this thing can get. And here we are, we're catching it nice. And same thing, rinse and repeat. You can see here, I took multiple fills. I was under the impression that we were going to catch another leg. Now this right here kind of confused me because look, we're super spiky emotional. We got one push, boom, right, two, push, down, right, three, four. We're getting a lot, and then this is a shift, a sentiment shift in the tape, right? Now we're catching a little pattern maybe, and it threw me off. I was still trading this tape. I'm still stuck on this tape, this order flow, and then we come in and we get a shift. And I got one more scalp off. Like, look at how my gap is narrowing, right? This right here in relation, this is 675 to 662 is 13-cent scalp. I don't want to play this micro float for 13-cent scalps. That's too dangerous. That's not in my best interest. So I didn't realize that at the time. I'm in the zone, or at least I think I am. I'm not, I'm looking at this chart differently. And then I just continue to add. Now this right here in the highlighted box, as you guys know, we highlight our mistakes. So this lets me know that this was in my opinion, my biggest error on the day. I added right here at high a day. And in my opinion, right here, I added above that. That should have been a cut. So that's just me being emotional, not wanting to lose this trade, right? And then we get a nice push, really nice push. And then we stop out at 718, 720 with a little bit of slippage, but that's fine. This is what I want to focus on. If I'm going to spend 15 minutes on this chart, I want to spend 10 minutes looking at this 1035 to 1105 range, right? That's where the majority of the errors are. So then after that, we reset. A little upset, a little emotional. As you can see, my first entry is a feeler down at support here. Right, this is support. At the time, I'm thinking this is support. I'm looking for support, micro support. I add back and I get a quick scalp. I scalped this off quickly, knowing that this was a poor entry. So if we enter poorly, we want to punish ourselves, or we want to take that risk off, looking for the opportunity to add it back. And I missed this wick here. I think I was entering in on another trade, which we'll show you in a second, YRIV. And then basically just watching the tape here, the tape was looking a little heavy, or there was some soaking on the offer, I believe, right here. I caught this right before this nice little flush, and then I'm adding back, and then boom, we get a nice flush, and then now we're just kind of on a backside core. We believe it to be the backside, right? We're catching nice fills. We're adding. I had some more ads up here at like 704 and 709, I believe, right? Look, using this micro consolidation, which is only relative to the volume. Right, so the first thing I want to see the pattern, right? I want to see where support is, right there, 705, 710. But how much volume is deposited in that consolidation, right? I want to see how much uptick volume is stuck or trapped in that, right? Because the amount of volume coming up into previous resistance, of which is basically bagged uptick volume, right? We want to see more volume here in relation to the push, and I didn't get enough strength. I didn't get my ads on, but we got a starter on, and then I'm just running. I'm running the channel. Buying support, selling exhaustion. That's what I do right here. Maybe a little bit aggressive on this, but I feel as though I'm in a profitable rhythm with the order flow. And when I'm in that rhythm, I don't want to stop because I'm profitable. If that makes sense. And then we just ran this channel, same thing, right? Buying VWAP. Look at these. These are right here on my line, right? I got a 685, 690, 680, 690, $7. I'm sure I did have actually larger ads at 698, I believe, but they never got filled. Here's my lines, and then look, that line was accurate because we can see here this acting as support to give us ultimately that push into tomorrow. I should have trimmed more off here and here. Taking a good majority of the position off here. I did still have some shares, and I let this one do its thing. Watching yesterday's after hours consolidation, I thought we were going to get a nice push, and I did have an 850 line. Right, here's the front side profile. So I have an 850 line right here, 846. Not much. Look at the volume deposited. Actually, let's look at the 3-year real quick. 850. Okay, so this is the main consolidation, right? Right there at 850. Okay, this is monster volume. A lot of this volume is from today though, but I did have an 850 line. As you can see, there's still a cliff right here, an LVN, a cliff, whatever you want to call it. But I did have an 850 line, and I used that to add. And then I stopped out. I gave this one a trim stop. I let this one at the mercy of the market here. This is dangerous, but this one exhausted itself and came down, and I ended up taking it off at 848, 849. And there's a lot of errors on this chart. There's a lot of room for improvement on this chart. The number one reason, we were talking about this in the Wolf Trading Discord room. Some veterans in the room, we were talking about picking the right stocks in the morning, and how important it is to play the right stocks, understand the float, understanding the range in relation to the float as the time and sales is printing and stuff like that. So YRIV, I took a loss on this. Let me just show you the thesis real quick. So here's a 5-day chart, right? We've been pushing for multiple days now. Look, it's going from 40 cents up to $1.50. You can see right here. Do a 4-hour chart. Let's do a 30-day 4-hour. So a little bit different. You can see the volume that was deposited today. But basically, we had two nice little HVNs right here. So we had an HVN that looked like this, right? Here's an HVN right here. That's actually the point of control. And then here's another HVN right here. So we had two of these, right? And then this is where I put my line. So I would put a line right here, and I would put a line right here. So that's what I was looking to risk off of. And I was looking to risk these two levels right here, 119 and 120 and 140, 153. 119 and 153 were my levels. These levels were added intraday, and that was my thesis. So with that being said, let's take a look at executions. So YRIV, we took a loss on it. We followed our plan though. It had a 119 thesis right here. So I got a starter on, and then I had an add. I got a partial fill, and it flushed, which is nice. I had like a first target out probably somewhere around $1.03, I believe, or $1, and then we come back up a little bit, and I didn't touch my ad. Then it comes back up, and I get the full ad right there. And then I'm watching the tape very closely as it pushes through. I want to see exhaustion. I didn't. I saw strength coming into my fill, and then that's an indication that my thesis is broken. And I gave this one 6 cents. And it felt like an eternity. This thing was just strong. This tape was just lighting up green going against me. I could have cut this sooner, but I am happy that I only gave it, 5 or 6 cents. And then my thesis, my plan was to reattack at 153, as I just showed. 153. and we did not reach that. I had orders out the entire day. They didn't get filled. That was my plan. I'm going to stick to my plan, and it just didn't work out. The last trade we had was a mid-cap Weight Watchers. There's been some volume coming into that off earnings a few days ago. Look how strong this push is. There's more strength coming into the market now, definitely. But Weight Watchers is a 2 billion cap right here, 67 million outstanding shares, and they specialize in overweight women's milkshakes. Those milkshakes are delicious, though. I have tried them. Right after Jazzercise, you get a chocolate milkshake. It's delicious. So here we are looking to sell off. Now, this thing was massively strong. We're coming from $21 up to $31. That's $10 on a $21 name, right? That's 35%. This thing's up 35%, which is ridiculous for a $2 million cap. That's going to put a lot of institutions, and that's going to put a lot of eyes on this, is basically what it was. And then the large players or whoever was buying this up, they sold it. This is just them exiting the play, and we caught it. Let's take a look. Weight Watchers. So we had an average yesterday. I don't remember the exact average, but we're just unwinding the position. The average was probably around $30.87. It wasn't the best average. And we unwinded the position, taking the majority of the shares out right here at like 29, just above 29, and I took a majority of them off at 28. Here's my lines right here, right? So these lines match up with the 3-year chart. Let's just take a real look. This is the last one. So here's look at this thing from 110 bucks. This is highly manipulative, in my opinion. But here's my numbers. Let's go up and take a look at this. Okay, my numbers. We're going to go all the way back to the volume, right? So this is how I'm looking at a little bit more of an in-depth view of the technical analysis. I'm going to bypass the candles, and I'm going to look through them into the integrity of those candles, which I believe, in my opinion, that is through the volume deposits. So here we go, right? Because we could have look at, say we want to look at 1220 in relation to 1221. Now there could be there is a lot less. There's a lot less of liquidity on that day. So it could take, in theory, 20 times less liquidity to get the same range, right? If we have more buyers and more sellers attacking each other, they're hitting heads, they're bashing heads. We're going to have a lot more volume, but it could be the same range, right? So we can't get that depth, not with a basic candle, unless we look at the volume over price underneath. But I just like to just put it over volume over not volume over time, volume over price, right? We're just taking a 3D map, right? Here's one dimension, and here's another dimension, and that gives us that 3D look. Basically, that's what it is. So here's the lines right here. Look at these lines really zooming in the higher 20s to 30s, and these are my targets right here. This is just a drop in the pants, giving you a look at how I mark lines right here. There it is. And this is just me hitting those lines, right? I mark my lines at night after the market closes, and that's it. So this was a nice winner. And speaking of marking charts, let's go over to the Wolf Trading Discord room and the Runners room, aka the Weapons room. This is where I spend the majority of my time with my charts after hours and the extended hours, marking charts and getting these levels right for you guys to view, compare, and discuss. So SIEN is on watch. Look at this push and sell off. And then yesterday in yesterday's recap, we said that this was a nice touch and go or touch and strength route, and we were expecting a push. Now we did get the push, but we didn't get a lot of volume, and it was kind of grindy, and it just flattened, right? We want to see an emotional spike, an emotional sell-off like this. We didn't get it. Now, we had the opportunity because we had it yesterday, but we just didn't catch it today. It's still on watch. VRAY is a day 2. So here's the relation to how this thing traded day 2. Now this volume, I wish I could have the volume profile from yesterday. But, this level right here, which we didn't mark today, this was already on the chart, acted as resistance. And basically, we can tell on the intraday level yesterday that it was from this consolidation right here. right? That's what kept this down in relation to the volume, right? Look at the volume. It's hard to see the volume because of this right here. Look at the bell. Look how much, in my opinion, this is a possibility that we're looking at dark prints, being entered into the total accumulative volume. And look, the relation of these dark prints to possibly organic volume. I mean, this is very, very manipulative volume. This is a red flag for me. I wanted to point that out to you guys. SNNA, we got a nice little rejection right here at one of our decision points, and it's just a fade. I missed this one. Look, I see a nice little head and shoulders, right? Head, right shoulder. Here's a neckline. It didn't come up to get that retest, but this is a weaker fade. It was a nice entry. I just didn't see it. Solely, I haven't traded Solely for a couple weeks. Solely was in play for 2 or 3 weeks and highly, highly manipulative. Today looks similar. I didn't watch it all day. I just know that we had a nice rejection at one of my lines. And last but not least, we went over RKDA. RKDA is just strong. It's just super strong. Look, I think they're trying to raise the MVPHS. HC Wainwright's on this one as the underwriter, and they do have $5 warrants, and then HC has some warrants at 614 or 621. All right, guys, that's it from me. Have a great Monday evening. Be safe. We'll see you next time, and come give us a look at Wolf Trading Discord room. We're accepting applications now. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Take care. Be safe.